So first and foremost, I want to say, actually, guten Tag.
Guten Tag, yeah.
First of all, let's talk. Born Sinner. I have to be honest with you. When I've been following you more so from Friday Night Lights.
Nice.
And what I looked at when I heard the album yesterday is I was actually intrigued. How did you actually overcome rejection? Because a lot of the story is about overcoming situations.
Yeah.
And even with the single, which will be coming up, TLC, like, is that innate for you to be able to get over, obstacles? Because you were saying, you're very kind of hard-headed. Where did that come from?
Oh man, that's such a great question. I don't even know. You telling me something? Because it definitely is a lot of that in the album and just in my life period. Like, always, I'm fueled by rejection. So like when Friday Night Lights was like a smash and was so huge, like, it didn't even have a big of effect on me as when the first album wasn't received like I wanted it to be. Like, most people wouldn't view it as this, but I felt rejected, like, because they didn't feel like my album was the shit, and I could see why it was like just viewed as like a really good album instead of like an incredible album. But that felt like rejection. You know what I mean? Which is my fuel. Like, that's, you saying that is crazy. That's always been my fuel. Like, even going back to high school, not making a basketball team 2 years in a row. Like, I'm telling you, the first time I was like, I took the rejection like, damn, that's crazy, man. They ain't put me on the team. Like, they're tripping. Like, they messed up.
Yeah. Right?
And then the second time I ain't get on the pick for the team, I was like, all right, now I need to do something. You know what I mean? Like, I got to go harder. I got to work harder. And I started playing basketball and working and training, something I had never done before in my life, like with a type of discipline that I had never done because of the rejection. I was like, yo, I'm going to make sure. My mind state was like, I'm going to make sure. Ain't no way they're going to cut me next year. You know what I'm saying? And it made me do that. Same thing with Jay-Z. Getting rejected from he wouldn't even take my beat CD. Same thing to me bringing him all these singles, these songs that I thought were singles, and him not approving them. That was rejection. And I would just come back harder. And I think the thing is that I looked to Jay-Z for approval so much that, like, that final rejection, I feel like had like a very bad impact on me. Like, it was for the first time in my life, rejection actually did harm me. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably the only time in my life I feel like rejection like had a negative effect. But really, when I look back, it was supposed to happen because it just made me stronger. Like, it put me through the shit I had to go through. You know what I mean? Like, in a place I had never been before. Like, where my confidence wasn't there, my quiet confidence wasn't there. You know what I mean? I used to always have a quiet confidence, and that was like gone now. And like, it put me in that place, but it made me better. You know what I mean? Because I still had the skill and talent to get through it. I just had to fight my own mind and shit. That's crazy you say rejection. That's really what it comes down to. And that was like a big story of the album. Rejection from like the critics, and rejection from like the Jay-Z over singles. Rejection from Nas. Rejection from even some of my fans. Like, oh man, you ain't as good as you was on Warm Up or Friday Night Lights. You know what I mean? So that shit fueled this album.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know what's, because you're not someone you're not a habitual tweeter.
Right.
So even if you're going through that, and I look at it and I was saying to myself, like, when we deal with that type of situation, some of us internalize it. We talk to our peers, but I remember you were saying there was probably like 3-4 months when I wouldn't call it. I'll call it quote unquote musical depression. When
exactly.
The beats,
Right.
But did you really see a light at the end of the tunnel? Because when you're in that dark place, what was the light that made you feel like I can get through this?
I didn't know I was in the dark. That's the thing. I didn't know I was I didn't realize it. I was just walking around with a heavy weight for a long time that was only gone when the album sold. And it was like, wow. So a part of that weight was gone. But it wasn't until I started creating again freely and like all this amazing stuff started pouring out that I realized the difference between where I was at when I'm in a good place and where I was at when I was in that bad place. And then I remembered how eventually I remember like, yo, of course you wasn't making good music. Every time you was picking a sound, you was asking yourself, was it a hit sound? I remembered that. You know what I mean? So it's like, when I was in the place, I didn't know. You know what I mean? I wasn't conscious of it. It was just like I was carrying weight, and I was just trying to get through it, trying to figure out whatever way possible. Like, because I'm going to just keep going, and I'm going to figure this shit out eventually.
And you know what? But the thing which I find interesting in you saying that is, sometimes you need time to figure things out because you don't have the answers at a point, and it's like, I need to work this out. I need to work it through. It may take me a month. It may take me a year. But in your position then, everyone's eyes are on you.
Exactly.
So that must have been,
yeah, it was heavy. Enough. Like the fact that I made it through all that and still came out like stronger, and I made it to where I am now is like, it's a blessing, yo, because I could have easily been a statistic, some type of statistic of an artist that just like kind of falls off and loses itself, you know what I mean, and like goes and just tries to make hits, pop hits for the rest of his career because he just lost touch. But it's like hard. It was hard, but I got through it without even knowing I was getting through it.
And the album, there's points that I picked up on, and it's great because I feel a lot of the artists who are based in America, they're able to touch on stuff like which may be racism. I know you were saying to us yesterday about having a manager and you felt that he may be somewhat racist, and even from Sideline Story, you still talk about how people look at you. The fans look at you like, oh, J. Cole. But then there's another people look at you like, you're not supposed to be here.
Exactly.
How do you consciously address that when racism is in your face? How do you deal with that part?
Me as a person, you mean?
Yeah.
I just observe it. And then it'll come out eventually. Because the music is like therapy for me, you know what I mean? And that's where stuff comes out. In my regular life, I observe. I'm not the type that's really going. I mean, I did do that before. I did tell this lady that I was a doctor on the plane because I got tired of everybody asking me if I was a rapper or if I was a basketball player. Everybody's like, you play, what team are you playing for? So one day I just pretended like I was a doctor just to be a smart ass, you know what I mean? And really was going along with it. And then the lady started asking me too many questions, and I couldn't answer them. She's like, oh, what field of practice? Where you practice at? I'm just like, oh fuck. I didn't have the answers, but I just observe it, and it'll come out later.
But it's almost like it's only if you're doing that you should have this.
Exactly.
They don't expect that.
Exactly. That's what I don't like. And then I hate the fact that they're right. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I hate that they're right. Like that I am a rapper. I'll be like, fuck. Like the other day, yesterday, my homeboy who's my business partner and my homegirl who's my assistant was walking out the hotel, and the guy who works at the hotel overheard them say like, man, we hungry. Like, I'm hungry. Let's go get something to eat. He heard them say that. So when they walking out, the dude is like, which one do y'all want? He said, where are you headed? Are you headed to Nando's or Mr. Jerk? He asked him, are you going to Nando's or Mr. Jerk? And they was like, oh, we're going to Mr. Jerk. And he was like, okay, it's right down there. But how did he know that they were going to Nando's or Mr. Jerk? Man. But he was right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So sometimes you just want to be like, no, actually, I'm going to go Mr. Chow's.
Exactly.
You haven't got me figured out.
Exactly, but he was right though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I feel when I'm on the plane. It's like, fuck. I really am a rapper. Like, I'm feeding into the stereotype. I wish I was a fucking doctor so I could show these people that black people could be doctors too. You know what I'm saying?
But in going to that, I mean, the single. Do you know? And the single that you got with TLC, I feel like it's necessary. I feel like it's a song that it's a worldwide message.
Yeah.
And when we have hip hop, it's almost like we use everything to cover our insecurity. So you have people who say they got money that they don't have.
Yes.
So they get change which ain't real. And the fact is that I feel that with you saying, look, I'm going to address it. So I can't even hide from it anymore, even if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I put it out there, and like you said yesterday, they can't use that energy. Can you tell me about actually what was the tipping point that actually made you say, okay, we're going for it. I'm doing this track? Because even though you're saying that you explain the song, but at what point did you think I need to do this track and it must be on the album?
I came up with the title before I wrote the song. I just wrote the title down, I was going through a phase where I was writing down song titles, because I had heard somebody else did that, and I thought it was a great idea. Like, write the name of the song and then write the song. I got songs that I wrote down that probably I'll never write, but the title tells me everything. And then one day, I don't know what it was, just that phrase popped into my mind, crooked smile. I just thought it was such a dope phrase, and especially for a song title. And instantly I knew what the song would be about, because I've been dealing with that for like 4 years.
You said that it felt like dealing with things like almost rejection again from like high school.
Exactly.
But then dealing with it as a man in a light must have been crazy.
Yeah, exactly, because I went through that in high school. You know what I mean? Not that anybody was like making fun of me, but it's just insecure. It's high school. You want girls, you want to be cool. So it's like, certain things like you got acne, you got whatever it is that you might have or your clothes ain't the freshest, your shoes is dirty. It's like all these things I was insecure about in high school. It's like I now, as a grown man, got to worry about them again. You know what I'm saying? So, but now I'm writing from a smarter place. I'm grown, so I can handle it more mature. Like I can speak on it better. You know what I mean? And not get mad and be like, "Fuck y'all for talking about me." Now it's like, yeah, you're right. I do got a crooked smile.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
It didn't hold you back, bro.
Exactly. Yeah, it didn't stop me. Look where I'm at. So I'm gonna tell you and tell your little brother and tell your girl and tell your sister that they can do the same thing, and it don't matter what's wrong with them or what the world tells them is wrong with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's you can talk about that song for a while. I don't know if it's still going.
Yeah, no, it's still going.
Alright, but yeah, I mean it's like so much for people to grab out of that song.
The first verse is about you.
Yeah.
The second verse is almost for the lady that they don't need to do certain things.
Yes.
And then the third verse is like we're all one anyways.
Exactly.
Unity. So it's like you're walking us through, and it's like, but forget all that. We're still people.
Exactly.
We don't need to be segregated.
Exactly.
I thought that was very.
That's dope, man.
That's poignant. Runaway. I took it as struggling with the lifestyle that you now got.
Yeah.
And I think all of us face that, whether it's, you go into it, like, because I used to do accounting, so you come from a certain place, you go in there and it's like there's a different way you have to behave, and it just wasn't what you thought it would be.
Yeah.
Explain to us Runaway again from your perspective, because I think that's another one of those songs that can be transferable in different parts of people's lives.
Yeah, exactly. I do. I think for me it's about being in a relationship and at an age where all this attention and money is new to me, you know what I mean? But still in a relationship. So, but all the things that come with that, the feelings of like, damn, do I really want to go out here? Like, I really want to go out here and wild out, you know what I mean? And but it's like you have this loyalty to the situation or whatever, and in your heart you know what's right. But you don't even got to be a rapper to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's universal. It's a man thing. You know what I mean? A man is going to, especially in this day and age when everybody's so selfish, it's less about like family. It's more about like, I need to be happy. You know what I mean?
So not to cut you up, it reminds me of that line, in a world where they praise hoes and shun virgins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it's something that almost every man is going to go through or has gone through. It's like, damn, he got a decision to make. Do he want to go play the field, or does he want to hold it down where he's at, which is where he should be, because it's been proven that this is the best for his life. You know what I mean? And then the last verse of Runaway expands on the topic, you know what I'm saying, and talks on a lot of stuff, like talks about slavery, things back to slavery. It just basically connects slave days, racism, slavery days to now, current day. The fact that we still slaves right now. All of us, not even just black.
He said, could I walk away for 50 mil like Dave Chappelle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, and also I want to reiterate, like, as you said, you produced the entire album. Does that ever... Do you have to produce the beat and walk away from it and come back with a fresh mind?
No.
You go straight in once you...
I go straight in. If I don't go straight in, I'm probably not going to do it.
Right.
I wish. Sometimes, maybe. But no, if I don't do it right away, It has to be like a marriage right away. You know, very rarely is it the other way around. It has to be like at least the same day. If I come back a while later, it's like I don't feel the same.
And you know, and I think that's great because I think music has to feel natural. You know, like when you hear a song, and I'm going to radio, when you hear songs on radio and it gets played at 10, first time you're like, nah, and then the radio just gets into your ear. What I found was interesting is that, you know, you've almost become inadvertently a student to the game. You know, you seem to me like the song's just like, I just rap, I want to put out my music, don't want to deal with it. But when you was breaking down the radio situation, that's crazy though, you know. Now with the information, like you say, you now works out, but does that then also affect how you dictate what your final body of work would be in terms of singles? Because you now have the information. Does it slightly influence you? Because you know, before you said that you may think about writing a hit record, but now you know what a hit sounds like. You know, how much is that information from knowing how radio works maybe subconsciously influence some of the creative
I don't think it's subconscious at all. I think it's a conscious. Anytime it's conscious. Anytime you, that's why you're picking your singles in the first place. If not, then you wouldn't pick a single. You know, your single is to go the furthest. That's the point of a single. You're addressing the fact that this is the song that I want and believe is going to go the furthest. So with that in mind, you're going to consider radio. But there's a difference in considering radio and making your album or your song for radio. You know what I mean? That's the difference. Like Michael Jackson heavily considered radio, and so did Stevie Wonder, and these guys were looking for hits. So it just so happens that today radio is based on a certain, you know, procedure. You know what I mean? So, I mean, does it have something to do with the final album? Yeah, absolutely. A little bit. Not a lot at all.
Just a few more minutes, yeah?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you should be good, man. I'll give you some extra time if you need it, bro.
Alright.
But yeah, that's it. I don't think it's a major thing at all.
And the other thing I was going to say to you is the fact that you said that, you know, the whole thing about the Let Nas Down track. I mean, that's, you know, you said that even when you feel like it could be, I may not be doing the right thing about going and putting that album out on the 18th, the way the stars have aligned. When that happens to you, like when that actually happens, the way the whole story breaks down, what do you make? What's your conclusion? Do you think it's God? How do you break down that whole scenario?
Which one? Which scenario?
Let Nas Down. Just, you know, like being on a plane.
Oh yeah, definitely. God, however you look at it, but definitely a higher power telling me that I'm on the right path. You know what I mean? And showing me a sign that like what I'm doing is right, and I'm headed right in the sense of guiding me to where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? Not right in the sense of right and wrong, but right in the sense of like what I want and for where I want to be and the things that are going to bring me happiness. You know what I mean? And enhance my life and bring me what I want. Those are signs. Like, yo, this is what's supposed to be right now.
You need that in life, isn't it? You need signs. You
Yeah.
need the sun to go down to know it's night.
Yeah.
You need the sun to come up to know it's morning.
Yeah.
You know, so you always need signs to kind of like guide your journey.
Yeah, no doubt. And those are definite signs. Like I take those seriously when I notice them.
This is the segment. What would be, if you can think of it, if there is one, what would be your deepest song on Born Sinner and why? Because I know there's a lot. I didn't hear all of the. Well, we didn't hear all of the tracks, but for you, what would be the deepest song on White on the latest album?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna say
I know you have a favorite. You're saying that there's one that could probably be your favorite, but because for me, Sideline Story is probably my favorite. On
yeah,
the first
love
album.
Sideline Story. Deepest, I don't know, because there's a tie for deepest. Like you got Runaway, you have Rich Niggas, which you didn't hear. You got Born Sinner, which you didn't hear. Like those could all be in the running. And Rich Niggas is interesting because it's like I used to always look at rich people in a negative light. Like if you was rich, I used to look at you like bitter. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if it was jealous, but more like bitter. Like look at this fucking rich kid, or whatever.
But now you're gonna be perceived as that.
Exactly. So that's what Rich Niggas is kind of about. It's a weird thing, but.
And I want to commend you. Do you know I want to commend you on the thing about, you know, getting your mum to quit her job.
Word.
I think just from a that's always our dream.
Yeah, of course.
You don't have to work no more.
Yeah.
As a man, that must be almost probably one of the proudest moments of your life.
Definitely, man, because my mom is chilling right now. You know what I mean? She's with her family right now. She could do whatever she wants. She could travel. She could, like, you know, she could visit people, as opposed to, as we speak right now, she would have been delivering mail, like walking around, no matter if it's raining, snowing, she would have been out there in the heat. She way too old to be doing that physical job. Anybody, not just my mom's, like, they got other old people working there. My mom's not that old, but I'm saying, like, you hitting 50, like, you shouldn't be doing that. But you got to do it because you got to pay them bills, and you know what I mean, and feed yourself and feed your family. So it's like the fact that I could at least get my mom out of there a few years early was great. You know what I mean?
Sorry, put my awkward face in.
Can you get a few more minutes?
Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool? Wicked.
Yeah,
Alright,
yeah.
amazing. Just because we've got the last one. That's fine, cool.
Yes, you know, and like I was saying, is like I had that ambition myself to retire my mom.
Yeah, of course.
Because, you know, we always have, as sons, we always have a deep affinity with our mothers, anyways.
Yeah.
You know.
Of course.
Did she know that you were planning to do that? Or, you know, 'cause I saw the video, but you know, when you did that, I mean, how did she? I mean, we've seen how she reacted, but I mean, after the cameras are gone, like.
She was, I mean, you gotta think, man, she was working for the past 30 years. I mean, she worked at that job 20-something years, but she was working before that. Like, so all she knows, all anybody knows is working and routine. So I think at first it was like, she probably didn't even know what to do with herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she felt a lot of pressure to, like, do something positive and constructive. Because I felt like I think she would feel guilty if she feel like she got given a gift, and she would feel guilty if she didn't do nothing with that gift productive. But I had to let her know, like, yo, you deserve to just chill.
But it's crazy that they feel that they still need to be
Exactly.
working.
Exactly. She just feels like she needs to do something for the people, for the community. You know what I mean? But I let her know, like, nah, you gotta just do you for a minute. Enjoy your own self for a minute, and that's what she's doing right now. So that's incredible, man.
Also, a couple more questions. The intro was crazy. Like, it was just bars.
Yeah, it's mad bars,
It
yo.
was like, yo, I'm not stopping. I'm just like, you're blacking out.
Yeah.
But when you do that, I know you were saying yesterday it's like 5 minutes long. But at a certain point, when do you know when to put a pen down? That's what I've always wanted to know. When do you know, alright, pen down, I'm good?
Yeah, when I ain't got nothing else to say.
Yeah.
Sometimes a song is only 2 verses. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I said everything I needed to say in 2 verses. Like Born Sinner on the album is 2 verses. I said everything that I needed to say in 2 verses in the hook on that song. Sometimes it's 3 verses. Sometimes, like on the intro, it's like 5 verses or something crazy. So I just know whenever I feel like I gotta force another verse, I don't do it. I just let it go. If it didn't flow out, then it wasn't meant to be. You know, shouldn't have to force anything. It should just be something that's I want to say.
You obviously went to college. You know, you graduated. But for you now going into the music business, what have you found the most difficult adjustment to make? Now that you're J. Cole, the rapper, you know, what's the biggest adjustment you've had to make now?
Just personally, or what do you mean?
Like you know, like before you may be able to go to the mall. You know?
Oh yeah, that's definitely the hardest thing. Is like I'll never get the normal life back. You know what I mean? I can never do. And I very much enjoyed my normal life. I'm not one of them people that was like, I can't wait till I get famous, so this is all better. Of course, I wanted to have money, but I enjoyed my time as a normal civilian human being. You know what I mean? Like I really enjoyed my life. You know what I mean? I was doing regular things, like, you know, whether it be clubs, barbecues, block parties, girlfriend time. You know what I mean? Homeboy time, going to the beach. I could go to the beach. I ain't had to worry about nobody snapping pictures. I love getting in the water at the beach. Now I got to worry about, like, niggas taking pictures like, oh, J. Cole in the water.
Like the Truman Show, man.
Huh?
Yeah, like the Truman Show.
Not that bad yet. You know what I mean? I don't want to act like I'm that famous, but it is definitely everywhere I go, there's somebody that's going to know me now. You know what I mean? It might not be chaos and pandemonium everywhere, but there's going to be...
Do you get to eat, like, if you go out to eat, can you just go out to eat and just, or do you have someone have to send you food? Because I imagine if you're at a restaurant in the States, you'll get spotted.
Yeah, I do, but I get spotted, but I can deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't let them keep me inside. I do get spotted. They ask for pictures. I take the pictures. It's not enough to keep me inside yet.
Okay. And then my last question will be this. Okay, so Born Sinner, like you said, there's 2 parts to it. There's a darker part, and then it gets progressively lighter. And you said the first time that as soon as you finished the first album, a week after you started making what was this album.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're in a space where you've got your mojo back, are you already still thinking about the 3rd album that you're going to drop, or are you just waiting to see again what the numbers are for this?
Yeah, I want to see where I'm at. You know what I mean? What the numbers show me. Not even the numbers, but the response. What the response shows me, and then that'll determine. I mean, I'm already got the itch to do music, period. But am I gonna do my own music, or am I gonna go produce for somebody else? I really want to produce for somebody else. But if I feel like I didn't accomplish what I want to accomplish, if I get rejected again, you know what I mean? If I feel any type of rejection, then I might just be right back at it.
That innate attitude that you've got in terms of like dealing with rejection, because that will crush a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I just want to.
That's true. Well, thank you, man. That was a great point you brought up. I might have to just steal that. That was such a great point.